Hello creators and crafters, and welcome back. Or just welcome. Today I'm going to share with you how to make this really nice mixed media piece of art using print so that you don't have to paint anything. I used a calendar and a $5 thrift store piece of artwork, and then I Mod Podged on top of it so that it looked like a faux oil painting. So if this is something you're interested in, stay tuned and let's begin. Here is the art. I picked this because reason one, it was only $5. And reason two, I liked it. So, okay, Zero's coming in to explore. So you can see, this is the size of the art. That is a Westie, and she now is out of the image. Oh, here's a trash can for reference of size. So you can see, there you go. This is the size. It's pretty good, nicely sized. We have a lot of sky. There is damage on the frame, which is not a big deal because I am just going to re-gold the frame anyways. I'm going to decoupage images on it because I'm not great at painting. So this is how you make really cool, easy, affordable collage art. Zero is going to make sure that it is not food. And I think the consensus is, that's not food. Here is the calendar I got for free from my grandmother. She said, "Oh, the butterflies are so pretty, do you want this?" And I said, "Nah, probably throw it away." And then as I said that, I thought to myself, I actually have a piece of art that this might make a cool like collage piece with. So yeah, this is the calendar. I'm gonna show you all of the butterflies. They're quite pretty. I'm going to try to go with some in the same color tone, so I think I might avoid the blue ones and just go with the ones more in like this tone actually, funny enough. Have a bunch of options, lots of different sizes. I may or may not include the flowers. It kind of just depends on what it's actually going to end up looking like, but yeah, I'll probably avoid that one and save all the blue ones for something different. This one might work. I really like the way that the flower looks. I think at the bottom of the art it would be pretty cool. And then the last one is there. No, wait, this is the last one, just kidding. So yeah, I'm going to cut these out, and I don't want to bore you by watching me cut them out. It's maybe enjoyable and relaxing for some people, but I'm just going to cut these out, the ones that I think I want to use, and then I'm going to place them on the art and see how it looks. But yeah, these are all the butterflies. Pretty cool. Calendars are not very expensive, and I guess for the better quality ones, they might be like a couple dollars more than the lesser quality ones, but let's get to cutting. There we have it. So I cut out a bunch of butterflies from the calendar there and realized that after I moved them around, there was still a couple areas that were missing something. So I went to the back of the calendar, and you know those tiny little images that were on the back? I cut out these little guys, and I kind of just stuck them there, and I really like it. I made this little person, kind of like a butterfly person, and I'm down with it. I thought about maybe giving the cows some wings, but I don't want it to be too much. And once I Mod Podge everything down, I think it'll look really good. But one thing I did do is I colored in the antennas, or antennae, I guess it would be. There's a glare on it, but I colored them in with permanent marker so that well, I mean, you can see here. So this one I didn't color in yet, right? So it has like this light, bright green color to it. And then this one here I did color in. So I'm going to color them all in because it's like, you know, the bokeh fuzzy little background thing. And yeah, so I'm going to color in the antenna with permanent marker, and then I am going to Mod Podge everything down. And of course, with the frame, it's not in perfect condition, so I'm gonna gild all of that, and I'm gonna use my rub and buff type of paint, but any of those gold paints work as long as it has like a nice thick viscosity. I am going to Mod Podge those down, and then it'll basically be done. But one thing I am going to do whenever I am Mod Podging this is I'm going to Mod Podge and make it look like this is an original painting, and then I'm going to put a second layer down to make the butterflies look like they're painted on. And I was even thinking about kind of sanding the edges so that they're not like super crisp and super clean. I'm gonna try it on a piece of paper and then put it against it, see if I like it, and if I do, I'll let you guys know that I like it. But this is what it looks like, not sanded down. Because it's not glued down, it has like that sheen to it, but it's gonna look much better whenever I color that in black, because you can see it's kind of like just fuzzy currently as it is. So I'm gonna do that now. Alrighty, time to Mod Podge. This is my biggest craft brush, so I'm going to use this, and Mod Podge does rinse out really nicely, so it's not that big of a deal. You can pour it on and spread it, but first I got to put the butterflies down and let that dry, and then I can Mod Podge over the entire top of it to make it kind of look like one cohesive piece. And I did attempt to file the edges slash sand them down. I just used a nail file, but it made them too light. It didn't actually make them fuzzy. So I would not recommend doing it that way, but I would recommend experimenting and trying and see if you like it, but it didn't work out for me. So let's just Mod Podge these butterflies down. Get a good amount on there. Don't be afraid. Mod Podge is not that expensive. Goes a long way. And may I remind you that I'm getting it all over the art in the background, but that's okay because we're going to be Mod Podging over the top. But we just want to make sure that there's Mod Podge on the entire thing. It does make it a bit curly, which is kind of annoying. Okay, that's not fun. Note to self, that's annoying. Okay. Mod Podge. That's rude. It's going to be a little tricky. Maybe I should Mod Podge the background first and then the butterfly. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That was unsuccessful. Okay. Mod Podge your background and not the butterflies slash images that you're going to stick down because they curl if they're thin pieces. Not a big deal. Look at me learning and making mistakes so y'all don't have to. Okay, I Mod Podged my butterfly and then it made it all curly. And I realized I wasn't even filming so you didn't get to see it happen. So, do not Mod Podge your image that you're going to be sticking down. Mod Podge the background and then put it on the Mod Podge so that it's not super curly, and make sure you way go over where you need to be. We're going to be Mod Podging the entire thing, remember, because we want it to look like a painting. It's kind of like a little hack to make a print look like a painting. And now we are good there. I got it not so curly, so let's carefully stick our butterfly moth creature on. I think this is close to what I wanted. Smooth it out. Mod Podge under any areas that has dried or has been missed, which is basically all of the edges. But we're going to be Mod Podging again on top, so there we go. Now we can mush her down. Yeah, do it like this. There we go. Let's get all of this. And then the second coat of Mod Podge, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go with like the trees like this so that it looks like brush strokes. And we're going to get it kind of thick. And you can use matte or shiny, but that will be the second coat. I just want you guys to kind of get an idea of how that's going to be before we even get there. Jump the gun a little. Let's just really get it on there nice and thick. We really want this on here, especially these little thin pieces. Want a nice thick coat. We definitely don't want that peeling off. And I would have taken this image out of the frame, but it's really in there nicely, so I'm not bothering. I'm just going to be really careful. But if you're not careful, go through the extra effort of taking it out. All right, I'll stop talking and let you just watch me Mod Podge. You may have to push the air bubbles out. This one got bubbly, but that one did not. And this one I put Mod Podge on the back of, and this one I didn't. I would recommend putting Mod Podge on the back first, letting it dry, and then putting it on. I don't know. That's weird. Why did you do that? Well, we'll see how it dries. There, so it doesn't get ruffly. That was weird. I was not expecting that. This makes it a bit sturdier to do that. Hope that the wrinkles don't ruin it. Let's try to roll these wrinkles out. Tiny rolling pin for wrinkles. This was a mistake. Don't make my mistakes. Well, don't do that. It messes it up. So note to self, Mod Podge the backs first and then stick it on. This is the gold paint that I have. There are many out there and there are better ones than the Folk Art brand, but this one works, so I'm just gonna touch up all of the frame. And then you can see as I'm touching this part of the frame up how much it covers, and you can decide if that's something that you want to do or if you like the way that this covers, but it has a much more yellow gold. So this has quite a bit of damage at the bottom, but 2 coats will definitely fill all of that in. Yeah, you can paint the whole frame, you can highlight all the areas that are damaged. You can kind of do it however you like, but definitely experiment, play around, and it'll get there. I'm gonna do this in a few coats. Alrighty, I tried to make it look hand-painted with the Mod Podge. I put my first coat down. It looked like that before it started to dry, and then as you can see, as it dries, you just don't really notice it. And then if you look at it at an angle, it's hard to show the texture with the camera, but I made it nice and thick around the edges there to give it dimension. Put quite a few coats on these, and then you can see here I did the same thing. Glopped it on, mushed it around. It's looking pretty good. I will do the final coat and I'll film that so you can see how I'm doing it. But you want to make sure you get the Mod Podge across the entire image. But hopefully it looks good when we're done, even though I really messed up. But now I've learned. Glue stick the images down, like when people decoupage. I couldn't find anyone who did art like this, so I was experimenting, and you can learn from my mistakes. Whenever I Mod Podged the back first, it definitely helped it not get as wrinkly. With that one, I didn't Mod Podge. And then these, I Mod Podged the back first, let it dry a little bit, and then stuck it on, and it still got kind of wrinkly. So I really think that the glue stick is the way to go, something acid-free, because acid will slowly over the years deteriorate your image. If it's not acid-free, just make sure it's something that you don't want to keep for 30 to 40 years. If it's just like fun for kids, not a big deal. Yeah, it looks pretty good, and hopefully whenever it's done, it looks great. It is finally complete. So unfortunately for my second coat, which I was going to show you, my phone did not fully film me putting the Mod Podge on to make it look like an actual oil painting. But I'm going to try to show you a couple of the things that happened here. Painting the gold turned out great. This butterfly here, I really messed it up by trying to roll it, but that kind of aged effect, well, now you know, you can get it with an image. Not a problem. It was a mistake, but learn from my mistake, don't do what I did. These butterflies here turned out really great. I just messed up that little spot there, but again, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. It's a mixed media piece of art. It was my first one. You learned how to do it now for $5. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Let's show you up close how this kind of looks like an oil painting. So as you can see here, 2 layers of Mod Podge, and Mod Podge is very, very thick. So knowing that Mod Podge is thick really gives you the opportunity to use it to your advantage. So let's see if I could show this again. All right, you see here, all the layers there. This is the best I could do with my really, really cheap image. So I only paid $5 for this piece of art, and then the calendar was free. Mod Podge is $5 to $10, depending on how much you buy and where you buy it from. Everything turned out really great. Everything's on here really, really well. I can't feel it or scratch under it, so the Mod Podge really did get it on there incredibly well, even with all of my mistakes. So I hope you like what I made. I hope you learned something today. I hope you try to make some really, really cool piece of art. And I'm just gonna hang this up in my hallway, but it does look so beautiful out here on my plant porch. Maybe I'll hang it out here, and then it's gonna go in my 70s room because I am going for this color and that aesthetic, our guest room whenever we move. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and hey, try to do this. Have a great day. Bye, guys.